Welcome back to Magny Cours, where we're well underway with the second race of the weekend for the Lotus Cup Europe. As it gets very congested, the Adelaide hairpin, Steve Williams, Jean-Baptiste Meusnier and Olivier Cunat somehow navigate the corner. It's Steve Williams who comes out the winner, and Olivier Cunat rather losing out there. That's the race leader, Remy Pourchevin, heading up Christophe Legendre. So it's Steve Williams in third, Jean-Baptiste Meusnier in fourth, and then Olivier Severini challenging for fifth and making it through past Olivier Cunat. But here is the Meusnier and Williams battle for third position, and Jean-Baptiste Meusnier, retirement in race one, but he's making amends for that in race two, and piling on the pressure onto Steve Williams, who has, by Steve's high standards, had a slightly mixed start to the 2011 season. And then in the background you see the menacing Evora of Gregory Rass trying to find his way past Olivier Cunat, and that's heading up a big gaggle of cars as well. There's probably about 10 of them running more or less line astern. It's Olivier Severini in the orange 211 who heads that particular queue, and then we've got the two Evoras in fact running together with Gregory Rass and then Thierry Verheijst, then a slight gap back to Cole Vivion, who's the runner-up in race one, a little bit lower down the pack in race two, and then it's Pete Story who's coming up the order well from Nicholas Walker. Also Jean-Pierre Prachet in the mix. He is in the fluorescent yellow and black machine, and also there is the red car. That's the recovering Philippe Loup, who we saw disappearing very wide at the hairpin at the start of the race. Well, the leading tussle, this is closing up very nicely, is Christophe Legendre beginning to pile the pressure onto Remy Pourchevin, and then the gap back to third position. It's Steve Williams who heads up the rest of the queue, as we've got Philippe Loup looking to make the manoeuvre on Nicholas Walker, and that is very tight into turn one, and Nicholas Walker, well, he had no option but to turn across the corner, but Philippe Loup was rather committed there, and that is going to leave him exposed to a challenge possibly from Simon Deacon in the black number 39 car as they turn through Estoril. And then we have got this train of cars heading along the straight towards the Adelaide hairpin, and on the brakes is possibly one of the best opportunities to find your way through. It's Tom Chataway at that particular group. Are we seeing any challenges here? Well, Gregory Rass contemplates making the move on Olivier Cunat, and then Thierry Verheijst defends for everybody else as Jean-Pierre Prachet goes around the outside of Pete Story, but then goes a little bit too wide over the curb, so Pete held on to that position as Simon Deacon pressurises Philippe Loup in that tussle. Are we going to see a change here? Gregory Rass looks to the inside of Olivier Cunat, no way through, but the drivers challenging on each and every corner around this magnificent Magny Cours venue, and Nicholas Walker right on the tail of Pete Story, who did finally lose out to Jean-Pierre Prachet. A little bit wide there in the middle of the pack is Nicholas Walker, so he may have just lost out that position as Simon Deacon from Tom Chataway, and there is John Rass recovering from his first corner adventures, as we've got a move possibly up the inside, a little bit ambitious from Cole Vivion, but through he goes, and so Prachet demoted another place. It's still Steve Williams maintaining this third position, although Jean-Baptiste Meusnier in the Exige may have something to say about that. The Evora of Gregory Rass finally making a manoeuvre on Olivier Cunat, so Cunat demoted as almost the change for third position. Meusnier, well, he looked to have had enough track position there actually to go through. Instead he forces Williams to overcommit, possibly into the corner, run a little bit wide, so they jink through the S-bends. Now Jean-Baptiste Meusnier hard at work behind the cockpit. If he can try and pick his way past Steve Williams on this section of the circuit, he'll be able to then carry that advantage through to the end of the lap, because they're coming up towards the tight left-hander, and this is a potential overtaking opportunity. And are we going to see Williams hold on? Well, he goes in very, very tight, but Meusnier is surely going to get there on the exit. Yes, he does. So as they plunge down the hill and on towards the end of the lap, Jean-Baptiste Meusnier finally goes into third position, and that was nicely set up, because we saw Steve Williams just over-committing so much for the corner and taking such a tight line on the inside, but instead he fights back under braking. Around the outside goes Jean-Baptiste Meusnier, and the pair of them give each other a lot of room, and Steve Williams in fact goes back into third position. Jean-Baptiste Meusnier, in his haste to make the racing line, then leaves himself exposed to challenge from Gregory Rass in the ominous looking Evora. It's a beautiful car, but I'd imagine it strikes fear into the hearts of the drivers immediately in front of it, although Meusnier keeping his footing around the outside. Great battle this, and no shortage of commitment from the drivers, because they're on the limit. Great shot there into the cockpit of Jean-Baptiste Meusnier's car. You can see him just making a slight correction on the wheel as he turns in towards Estoril. So they come out of Estoril and then along the back stretch, and I think Gregory Rass is going to make the manoeuvre stick here. Yes, he does, so he finally finds his way past Jean-Baptiste Meusnier, and that all started when Meusnier, I think, had a fairly legitimate shout for third position. Steve Williams just about held on, but Williams snatches the brakes under braking into Adelaide, and Meusnier, he goes down two further positions, because Olivier Severini and Olivier Cunat also challenging wherever you look these positions are swapping. Although in fact I don't think Severini's quite sealed the deal just yet. And he tries again to go past Jean-Baptiste Meusnier. Both drivers got somewhat superfluously on this beautiful May day, lights ablaze. The same as well goes for Carl Vivian, who is just tucked in there behind Pete Story, who has rather invited himself to this battle. So now that Olivier Cunat is past Jean-Baptiste Meusnier, he's driving away from him. We go in kart with Olivier Severini as he challenges Thierry Verheist. And is he going to go through? Not quite, run side by side. He does now go through. So Severini, a bit of a yo-yo race for him. In and amongst all of these tussles, it's Tom Chataway who has now picked up some positions as he is in the midfield. He's got John Rass on his tail. Now, can John pick his way through along the backstraight? I think he probably can here because he's got a good run. And well, wherever you look, there are battles going around the circuit. And this really is still an extension of the fight for third, which stretches along the best part of the back straight. And John Rass does go past Tom Chataway. We've also got in the mix there Philippe Loop. And Pete Story, around he goes. A little bit of a helping hand possibly from Simon Deacon. And Pete should recover with the loss of only a couple of positions there. And there wasn't really much that Deacon could do. He'd moved inside of the corner. He was also busy defending in turn from Tom Chataway. He committed for the manoeuvre. Pete turned across him. And again, early on the brakes there for Simon Deacon, and Tom Chataway carrying far too much speed into the right-hander, and Chataway doing very well to avoid a rotation, but unfortunately it rather detaches him from the back of that particular tussle. So Tom Chataway getting his head down and back into the fray. They're both chasing down Nicholas Walker and then Olivier Severini, as we've got John Rass and Jean-Baptiste Meusnier. So Meusnier, having been in the fight for the podium positions in the early stages, now rather slipping down the pack, and he is towards the bottom reach to the top 10 now, around about 8th position is John Rass, despite that excursion through the gravel, really carrying the pace. Well, here's a replay of where it all went wrong for Olivier Severini, and well avoided from Pete Story, because that could have been awkward. Now, this is Philippe Loop, and that is Tom Chataway, giving him some assistance to live up to his name and do a loop, because he has lost a couple of places, but no harm done, no damage done either. Here is the race leader, Remy Pourchevat, and he's got a big advantage over Christophe Lezondre, who has got Carl Vivian for company once again. This is a replay of the fight we saw towards the end of race number 1. That time around, it was Vivian who came out on top. Christophe Lezondre, though, he's got the track position. He remains in second place in the black car with the multicoloured streaks as they accelerate along the back stretch. Now, where, if anywhere, can Carl Vivian find his way through? Because Christophe Lezondre sticking to his guns, more importantly, sticking to the racing line. Up over the curbs they go. And one of the reasons I so enjoy watching these 211s race is that you really do get a good view into the cockpit and can see the drivers hard at work, and certainly both of these on maximum attack, although for the moment they're both on the podium, although they're desperately want to stand on the second run of the rostrum. But coming in to the final couple of corners is our runaway race winner once again, Remy Pourchevat. He flip-flops through the final chicane, the checker flag goes out. It's the double at Magny Cours for Remy Pourchevat. Superb victory for him. And he comes over the line probably about 7 or 8 seconds ahead of Christophe Lezondre, who does hold on and claim second place from Carl Vivian in third place. The pair of them having had a superb tussle throughout the majority of the race. And then into fourth place in the background, it's Gregory Rass in the Evora. So Rass coming home fourth. There's the classification. So it is the win for Pourchevat from Lezondre and Vivian. Rass in fourth. Olivier Cunat claiming fifth. Jean Rass recovers up sixth, and Steve Williams into seventh place. Jean-Baptiste Meusnier slipping to eighth. In terms of the classes, well, it's Remy Pourchevat from Christophe Lezondre and Carl Vivian in the 211s. The Evora class headed up in fine fashion by Gregory Rass from Thierry Verheist into the Exiges. Great battle all race long that was eventually won by Olivier Cunat from John Rass and Jean-Baptiste Meusnier. Glad he got something for his efforts. The Lotus Open category won by David Fenn from David Harvey and Xavier Georges. And the production class, it was Matt Bartlett doing the double from Jan Christie and Alain Adou. Champagne on the podium for race winners, and Remy Pourchevat getting the bubbly nice and fizzy before spraying Christophe Lezondre and Carl Vivian. Vivian struggling to get the cork out, as indeed is Christophe Lezondre, who retaliates.
Remy, congratulations, you're the first person to have 4 wins. How does that feel?
Oh, it's very good, very good. But the beginning of the race was very difficult because I have My start was very bad, and after that, during the straight, there was 3 or 4 cars in front of me. It was very touchy, so I wanted to be very quiet, and after just after I could pass overtake, and after it was easy. It was easy for the rest of the race.
Remy Pourchevat delighted with this weekend's efforts as our class winners celebrate on the podium.
We've had some fantastic races both here and in Alton Park. Join us next time where we'll be at the Lotus Festival in Snetterton.